Hello everyone and welcome back to Ian's Innovations. In this video, I'll be talking about another big announcement that happened not long ago in 2019. I remember when Little Nightmares 2 was announced back in August, I thought that was one of the biggest surprises of this year. But this is a completely different level of surprise. In case you couldn't tell already, we are going to be looking at the announcement of Half-Life Alyx, and I'll tell you my thoughts on it. Half-Life Alyx is going to be the first Half-Life game to be released since Half-Life 2 Episode 2 from 2007. This game will be a prequel set during the 20-year time gap between Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2. As the title suggests, you'll be playing as the character Alyx Vance instead of Gordon Freeman. The main catch of this game is that it's going to be VR exclusive, and I'll go further into that later in the video. For many months, Half-Life fans have been aware of an alleged Half-Life game called HLVR, thanks to files discovered by data miners and updated sources of Valve games such as Dota 2 and Artifact. But during that time, this HLVR was just speculation and rumor since Valve themselves didn't acknowledge on the topic. That was until November 18th, 2019, where Valve officially announced on their Twitter account that they are indeed making a Half-Life VR game and that it would be called Half-Life Alyx. And just 3 days later, the trailer for Half-Life Alyx was released and the hype for it went through the roof. Keep in mind that the last installment in the Half-Life series was Half-Life 2 Episode 2, and that came out back in October of 2007. Half-Life Alyx is going to be the first Half-Life game to be released in over 12 years. So no wonder why fans are going crazy about it. I remember while I was watching the trailer for the first time, I was feeling really joyful and excited because, and I couldn't believe I was saying it, but it finally felt like Half-Life is back. And speaking of that trailer, let's watch it and analyze what's notable. Now, I won't point out every little detail, but just the ones that are most notable. So the trailer begins with Alyx in first-person view in a rundown room. We can see some kind of alien terrain growing along with glowing particle effects. More on that terrain part later. Right away, we can see just how much more detailed and great the graphics look compared to Half-Life 2. This game is planned to run on the Source 2 engine, which is the long-awaited successor to the original Source engine. We then see some voltage effects and a small enemy running across the floor, and then a head crab jumps onto Alyx's face. Next, we hear this dialogue between two characters.
Alyx? Alyx!
I'm here. So what's the plan?
So the last person we hear talking is obviously our protagonist, Alyx Vance, and I don't know who the other person was. Keep in mind that in this game they're gonna be replacing Alyx's original voice actress from Half-Life 2 and the episodes, probably to make her sound younger since this is set before Half-Life 2. In the next scene, we get a good view of C-17, along with the Citadel as it's under construction. We also see Combine Hunter choppers carrying large parts, and in the distance, you can see some Combine dropships. I find it interesting that the choppers appear to be used for construction since in the previous games they just attacked us. But could there be other things the Combine are constructing in this game? After the Valve logo is shown, we see a Strider with some attachments and even a platform on top of its main body with two Combine soldiers on the platform. On the ground, we see two more Combine soldiers of different colors on their uniform. Wonder what they're doing to this city. In this shot, we see a surge of energy going through cables leading towards some Combine thing in the sky. What is this thing? What's its purpose? And what ultimately becomes of it since we don't see it in Half-Life 2. Over here, it shows a new gameplay gimmick where you probably use the VR controllers to solve puzzles. This tool that Alyx uses is probably that EMP tool that you use in Half-Life 2 and its episodes. We then see a brand new character for this game. This character is named Russell. He is a member of the Resistance and he looks like he'll be a major supporting character in this game. I have 3 questions about this guy. Who is Russell? What kind of role will he play in this game? And how come he doesn't appear or is mentioned in Half-Life 2 and the episodes? In the next scene, Alyx is shown acquiring these unique looking gloves. It's confirmed that these things are called gravity gloves, and as the name suggests, it will probably function similarly to the gravity gun from previous games, but in the form of gloves. They appear to also display health and other stats. Alyx uses the gloves in action here as she grabs the pistol that Russell throws over to her from afar. Over here, we see how we regenerate our health with this station as well as fighting off headcrab zombies at the same time. Interestingly, there's what appears to be an antlion grub from Half-Life 2 Episode 2 hooked up to the health station. I guess it makes sense since when you kill grubs in Episode 2, they drop little yellow spheres that regenerate your health slightly. Here in this scene, we see Alyx collecting ammo for a different looking gun and then she shoots a Combine soldier. Is this how we would get ammo in this game? Who knows? Next up, we see Alyx's father Eli on monitor screens. Here, he looks slightly younger and has a different outfit. Also keep in mind that they are also gonna be replacing Eli's voice actor from the previous games because his original actor unfortunately passed away in 2017. Hopefully this new actor will be a good replacement. In this scene, we see more of those new looking Combine soldiers. Now are these predecessors of the Metro Cops / Overwatch soldiers, or are they a completely different unit of Combine officers? We then see a shot of a regular looking Strider with better looking graphics, and we see a decrepit building infested with headcrabs and barnacles. There are more scenes, like this one with a speeding Combine racer train, a scene with some holographic map with a cup, and this shot of Alyx firing at a Combine soldier, as well as a box that explodes packaging peanuts, which is a little humorous. We again see more of that alien terrain growing in various places. So what is this stuff exactly? Well, I believe this may be some Zen terrain. I believe this mainly because one of the HLVR files discovered by data miners from a while ago is labeled Zen grenades, and in Half-Life 1 and its expansions, we see terrain from Zen growing in some parts of Black Mesa. Maybe we might see the return of older enemies such as bull squids, houndeyes, ichthyosaurs, alien tentacles, alien grunts, or gargantuas. Hell, maybe Race X from Half-Life Opposing Force will make a return, if Valve considers them canon, that is. Over here, we see another kind of puzzle with these spheres, and here we see Alyx grabbing some kind of grenade from a Combine soldier with the gravity gloves. There's also this part of some new zombie-like enemy unleashing electricity, and next we see Alyx firing at antlions. At least we know they will also return. We then see that hovering Combine structure from earlier along with the title card of Half-Life Alyx. And then we see the G-Man walk up to the screen, smiling at us. Well, at least we know he will appear in the game as well. And then we see that the game will launch in March of 2020, which is really exciting because that's only a few months away. So now that we're done breaking down the trailer, I'll now discuss my opinion on the announcement of Half-Life Alyx. As stated earlier in the video, I'm really excited for this game, mainly because this is the return of Half-Life, one of my favorite video game franchises of all time. And that I wasn't sure if we would ever get another Half-Life installment. Now, before this announcement, I still had hope that Half-Life would come back, just that I wasn't sure if it would actually happen or not. I'm also amazed with what they have showed us so far. The game looks great, showing nice improvements of stuff from previous games in the series, and it's perfectly how I'd imagine Half-Life 2 in modern graphics. I'm interested on how the game's story will bridge the gap of Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2. What's interesting to note is that even though this is a prequel, they recommend us to play Half-Life 2 Episode 2 before playing Half-Life Alyx. I guess this game will answer a question or two from Episode 2. And the other thing that interests me is how the VR aspect will work in a Half-Life game. And now we'll get on to the elephant in the room, and that is the requirements to play Half-Life Alyx. Since this is a VR exclusive game, you will need a VR headset and controllers. Now, I've tried on a VR headset in the past, maybe once or twice, so I'm not a complete noob to VR. However, I've never played a VR game with dual controllers, so if I get this game, it'll be my first time playing a game like this. Now, Half-Life Alyx will be able to support a few branded VR headsets, as you can see here. If you purchase Valve's VR headset, the Valve Index, before the end of 2019, then you will get Half-Life Alyx on your PC for free. The bundle that comes with the Valve Index headset, controllers, base stations, and the game will net you $1,000. Oh, and that's just for the VR stuff and the game. The system requirements for your PC to run the game are asking for a pretty decently powerful stuff in terms of graphics, memory, and processing. So on top of the $1,000 from earlier, you may have to replace a good amount of parts of your PC, which would cost a couple hundreds of dollars. Unless you already have all this stuff and all you would need is the game. Now, I already have more than enough gigabytes of RAM in my memory, but I would have to replace my processor, and even though my graphics card should do the job, my dad still recommends that we replace that as well, just in case, which I'm completely fine with. So yeah, I'm gonna have to pay a lot of money just to play this game, but hopefully me and my dad will work it out in 3 months. So overall, I'm very excited about the announcement of Half-Life Alyx. I know I'll have to put in a lot of money just to play it, but when I do, I hope I'll have a blast going back to the world of Half-Life. And because of the announcement of the game, the My Love for the Half-Life series video is now dated. Now, I remember one of the last things I said at the end of that video is this. Hopefully one day Valve will make Half-Life 3, or Half-Life 2 Episode 3, or Half-Life VR, or at least something out of Half-Life. Well, I had no idea that 7 months later we'd be getting another Half-Life game. I also remember before the announcement that I kept wondering, if there ever would be another Half-Life game, then how many years would come out after Episode 2? Well, didn't expect that the answer would be over 12 years. And also, I'm really thinking about doing another Half-Life marathon leading up to the release of Half-Life Alyx. Anyway, thank you for watching my thoughts on the announcement of Half-Life Alyx and the breakdown of the trailer. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments if you're also gonna get the game. Goodbye!